Today I want to take a look back at the original Space Jockey from 1979's Alien. Many of us know from Prometheus and Coveanant that the Space Jockey is meant to be an engineer in a suit. This addition to the Aliens universe has caused a huge rift between fans who either like or hate the prequels. Because of this, I thought I'd take a look back and see if I could do some research from around the time of the release of Alien to see what were the early ideas for the Space Jockey, pre-engineers. In case you don't know it, Dan O'Bannon was the writer and creator of Alien, along with Ronald Shusett. However, the main plot and ideas came from Dan O'Bannon, so I'd like to take a look back at his early ideas of Alien to see what we can find out about the mysterious Space Jockey. To begin with, we have to remember that in the original script, the egg chamber that we see inside the derelict in the 1979 Alien film was not there. It was located in a pyramid on LV-426 in the area next to the abandoned derelict ship. It was due to budget crunches and time constraints that they ended up moving the egg chamber from the pyramid into the derelict. It wasn't until the prequel movie Prometheus that we actually got to see these pyramids done right on film. To begin our story on the Space Jockey, somehow the Space Jockey's race ends up on LV-426. They are a race of explorers and archaeologists, and they are fascinated by the pyramid and other structures as well as the unknown culture that exists within. One of these jockeys eventually finds the egg chamber and ends up getting face-hugged by one of the aliens. He is rescued by his colleagues and they return to their spacecraft. It is then that the alien chestburster is born into this world by eating its way through the rib cage of the Space Jockey and making its way into the ship, trying to kill the rest of the crew. The other jockeys eventually kill the alien, but its acid blood eats through the hull of the ship, leaving them stranded on the planet. The surviving Space Jockeys send out a message of warning that there is a dangerous parasite on the planet and that nothing can be done to save them. They note that no one should attempt a rescue mission to the planet, and the remaining jockeys slowly starve to death. These early ideas, however, never made it too far, as the producers ended up making revisions to the film. They ended up completely removing the alien pilot and any references to other aliens from the film. They even went so far as to replace the Space Jockey with a dead human skeleton and wanted to make the alien an experimental human bioweapon. Both O'Bannon and Shusett were upset by the rewrites and resubmitted their original script. This time, however, Ridley Scott himself went to bat for some of the ideas in the script. He knew that because of the pressure from Fox that they had to cut down time in the movie and that a 3-hour version of Alien was not going to make the studios happy. Unfortunately, this meant cutting away many areas of the film. Luckily, Ridley was able to get the Space Jockey added back in. However, they then decided to add the egg chamber from the pyramids into the derelict to save space and time. The early look for the pilot or Space Jockey has changed quite a bit since the original ideas. The early designs were done by Chris Voss, Mobius, and Ron Cobb. Dan O'Bannon particularly liked the designs of the Space Jockey that were done by Ron Cobb. He was even quoted in Cinefex as saying, "It was just perfect. It had a very large cranium and 4 or 5 eye sockets, a very small jawbone, and no teeth to speak of. Of course, I expected it to look horrible when you first see it in the film, but then you looked a bit closer and discover that it didn't have the large teeth or mandibles, or any of the other things that are characteristic of a carnivore. And then maybe you'd begin to imagine it as some totally non-violent, herbivorous creature sailing around in space." Unfortunately for O'Bannon, Ridley Scott was not as enthused with these designs because he wanted Giger to design the Space Jockey since he had already done the designs for the rest of the derelict. As with many of the designs from the Alien franchise, the look of the Space Jockey was taken from Necronom 5 from the Necronomicon book. Scott had chosen this image because he wanted, and I quote, "a fossil almost, one which you'd have a hard time deciding where he leaves off and the chair on which he died begins." So here they are with this dead Space Jockey frozen in death to the weapon he was firing when he died, and he's kind of gargoyle-like and spooky. The pilot, in fact, is seemingly fused to its chair, a literal representation of Giger's biomechanical art and an element contributing to the incomprehensibility of the character. The creature we finally ended up building is biomechanical to the extent that he is physically grown into or maybe even out of his seat. He's totally integrated into the function he performs. These revisions made drastic changes to the Space Jockey, as well as for the reasoning for him being there. With the original ideas, the aliens were native to LV-426, or in the very least, they were there before the Space Jockeys were. The Jockeys were not responsible in the least for the alien creatures. They were simply exploring space when they came across the aliens on LV-426. So in this story, the Space Jockeys are not engineers, nor are they in any way responsible for the existence of humans on Earth. They were explorers, learning what they could by discovering unknown planets and life forms. So what do you guys think? Do you like the Space Jockeys' original ideas better than the engineers of Prometheus? Let me know your answers or any questions you may have down in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, if you could leave a like, it helps out the channel so much, and if you haven't subscribed yet, why not subscribe for all the future aliens goodness to come? Take care, and I hope to see you next time.